Don Jr. is working in line with Newsmax. And you know how, okay, guys, okay, guys. I can't not say the word when he's on or whatever. By the way, still same big pile of shit work that he hasn't done anything with. It just got taller and then he gave up on it. He just stuffed shit in there now. Look at this piece of paper stuffed up in there. And at least he's got more brains than his dad to at least lower the shade when he's shooting behind, with the sky behind him so it doesn't, wash him out. That said, the name of this video, by the way, is, wow, these videos of Joe Biden are insane. He's humiliating himself. I got to shrink this down a little so you can see it. He's humiliating himself, right? You know how we're like, every time he comes up with a new video, we're like, it just seems like he's cribbing notes from somebody else. Well, it wouldn't surprise anybody that on, like, this is just another one, the Humanist Report, whatever. Joe Biden humiliates himself in all caps from May 13th. Like, this is the theme. This is just the buzzword. So I think he's just going back over videos and going, I'll just make my own version of that. But this is, where does he go? Down here. Wow, these videos of Joe Biden are insane and he's humiliating himself. What is up with Joe Biden in these clips? This is getting embarrassing. Okay. And by the way, never forget that that his dad has the best words and that there was never, anyone who had,
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
Michigan gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
See my point? So take everything Junior says with a grain of salt. It's got to be rough, man. It has to be hard to, when your dad is your dad, like his dad is his dad, you got to go after the people that come after or the people that are against him with the exact same stuff he's guilty of, just so you can at least, if you can't succeed in peppering them with it, you can at least make it seem like a wash,
People coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup.
Right, yeah, so.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
All right, so here we go. This is, let's see what Don Jr. says. And this is a big one for him. 3,562 rumbles, 44,000 views. You only get, what is it, a quarter of the rumbles? So you buy the views and the views don't count as, the rumbles don't count. Does it cost you more to buy views than rumbles? I don't know what the exchange rate is. Is it like Bitcoin? All right.
Okay, guys. Well,
oh my God, it's loud. Okay, guys, let me bend my hands and operate in a circular fashion so that, all right. And he's doing the Kelly Ward one ear thing. And again, I don't know what the fuck he needs that for. He's not, well, he's playing videos, but he can hear them on his thing because he's not talking over them.
Unfortunately for America, it's the G7, and Joe Biden is in charge, and this week he's meeting with Vladimir Putin. Now,
and look at you're having to read your notes on that? Really? You're having to glance down like this? Unfortunately, guys, this is the G7, and he's meeting with Vladimir Putin, and it's going to be humiliating is my keyword. Jesus.
Now, I have very little faith in Joe Biden being able to do anything at the G7. You've already...
Oh, no. Whatever will we do? I'm sure I'm sure Biden is devastated that he doesn't have your full confidence, Don Jr.
Seen him stumble in front of the other leaders. Remember when he thinks that Syria is Libya, like multiple times?
Where we could work together with Russia. For example, in Libya, we should be opening up the passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble. I think I'm going to try.
Yeah, it couldn't actually mean Libya.
Try very much hard to. It is. And by the way, there's places where I shouldn't be starting off and negotiating in public here, but
he forgets that Boris Johnson.
Why'd you cut him off there? Why didn't you let him finish the thought? Was it because he was about to say something that your dad isn't even capable of comprehending? Yes.
Johnson, the PM of the UK, already introduced the president of South Africa.
And the president of South Africa. And the president of South Africa, as I said earlier. Oh, you did? I did not. I certainly did.
World leaders were laughing.
Yeah, with him. This is the. Shall we go? Hold on. Should we go to? Let's see. World leaders laugh at Trump. G7. There we go. This one right here. Let's see. Videos. This is the. This might be something that did back on Junior. Is that it? I just watched the teams. Here you go. This is yeah. So you think maybe, just maybe, that's what Junior's responding to? Is because this little joke about, like, Biden was reading when he announced the name of the person, they're like, you said it. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. All right, whatever. Okay. Like that, like, imagine being that emotionally broken that kind of back and forth in person wrecks you somehow. And you think is an equivalent to somebody getting a recording of the other world leaders when they're away from your dad going, what a fucking moron. Yeah, they do this all the time, but yeah.
Laughing at him. Putin is going to have a field day. I hope that Joe Biden has taken his Ensure, like double dosages this week. It started off with a disaster.
Ensure is not a nootropic, by the way. It's just it's. I mean, I get that it's an old man's drink, and that's where you're going. P.S. Your dad looks like shit, and it's time for an intervention. Let's put all your worries about Joe Biden aside. He's handling things just fine. Grown man with a lifelong stutter became president of the United States. What do you know? Our first black president and our second president with a disability. A well-known disability anyways. And I'm sure there have been others. Obviously, Kennedy had a back issue that he took pills for his back issue that apparently raised his libido and made him a bit of a hound dog. God love 1960s medicine. But like beyond the fact that you think Biden's old and you're going to go with old and whatever, your dad is 75 and he's a mess. He's younger than Joe Biden and he's a mess.
Disaster with Jill sitting at what seemed to be the president's desk on Air Force One on the way over there, prepping for the G7 because we elected Jill Biden. Sorry, Dr. Jill Biden in education. Right?
Well, granted, though, your dad's third wife and surrogate for your sister is obviously not, she's not around at all. So obviously you have to draw attention. The wife is around too much to draw, attention away from the fact. Where is Melania? Does anybody know? Anybody seen her? Just disappeared, just evaporated. All right.
Right, Dr. Jill Biden. We got to make sure that's clear because the media will otherwise cancel you. So Dr. Jill.
Or just call you out for being an asshole because she's an actual doctor. So.
Was apparently prepping for the G7, which is embarrassing.
How many doctors are in the Trump family? Is there anybody? Does your dad doesn't he have an honorary doctorate? He would have to, wouldn't he? I mean, that hasn't been taken back after sexual assault claims. Are there any?
In and of itself, but honestly, I think she would do a significantly.
She's in her gym instructor. Okay.
Better job than Joe ever would. Joe's not going to do that good a job. You saw he's
not doing a good job. Neither am I, which is why I have to look at my notes like Greg Kelly. I have to drop my hands, do this, read, stay on point, do my show,
those mistakes.
crank out my video, or I won't have any blow money.
Literally, world leaders were laughing at him. Okay? Forgetting about these sorts of things.
They were laughing at him. That was what they were doing. Do you want me to show them laughing at your dad again while he's not around instead of joking with him? Nobody? No?
Made pretty simple geopolitical mistakes repeatedly. He's afraid to hold a press conference with Putin, and Putin loves it. Anyone taking odds.
By the way, that's the other talking point you'll see floating around.
Know that Putin is going to eat his lunch. They all know, whether it's Putin or the other world leaders, Joe Biden's a puppet.
And you have to read it. Like, literally, dude, if you're going to say Joe Biden's a puppet, then don't read your pre-printed notes that someone sent you that you're supposed to put in your video when you say puppet. You get me? Don, Booby, if you're going to claim that Joe Biden is a puppet, don't crib someone else's notes to do it. Look into the camera. This is a 5-minute video, dude. I'm on camera for 3 hours a day sometimes. You can't go 5 minutes without, what was I going to say? What's the next thing I was going to say? Jesus Christ, man. It's a 5-minute Rumble video. The fuck is wrong with you? Look, I've already given lessons in how to apologize today and effectively. Do I have to teach you how to call someone a puppet or a stooge? Here's how you do it. Don Jr. is a puppet for the Heritage Foundation and the other monetary supporters of his dad's that have some dirt on him or some business dealings. And if his dad flops or goes to jail, all of his economic background is going to go away. So he has to kiss these people's ass and put out videos doing what he's told, reading off of notes, surrounding his phone or his laptop with post-it notes so he doesn't get too far off topic for a 5-minute video. Because Don Jr. is a puppet. He's a stooge. He's a third-generation slumlord. See how easy that is? Look at that. And I didn't even have to, even when I looked down, it was just for effect. And again, you know what? I could be doing this with a teleprompter. I could be having words go by the screen like this, Don. I could just have them, I could just read them as they go by and make it look all natural. I hosted Talk Soup. I'm a master with a teleprompter. You wouldn't know, but I don't have one. See, if I had one, it would bounce against the camera because I can almost touch it, and then you go. See, so I can't have it. I can't have a teleprompter there because I'd knock it off. You, because no one comes into your office to do any fucking work, and your entire office in your dad's old building is, the purpose of your office is to shoot Rumble videos now. That's it. So get yourself a goddamn teleprompter. It's $119 on Amazon, or you can do it on Walmart.com if you don't want to give Bezos your money, even though he's retiring from the thing. I understand, because you hate the Washington Post so much. Dude, fix your shit. God, this is aggravating.
And the sharks are circling, folks.
That's you calling yourself a shark? By the way, you look like the stunt double for the dude in Die Hard. Like after, when there's just like a smoking chest and a overturned glass of Coke on the ground.
The sharks are going to take advantage. I love the media. Everyone over there loves Joe Biden. Yeah, because he's a useful idiot for them. They know they will get whatever they can out of Joe Biden.
Well, then why was there a 5-year truce on selling American airplane parts in Europe again? We got something. We got a lot of something. Why did Trump was not able to get NATO to issue statements about China, but we were? Oh, because he was trying to finish his deal while he was pretending to give a shit about COVID, which he didn't.
They will get him to fund their ridiculousness, right? Joe Biden said, NATO is the EU, is the backbone of NATO. Minor details. The U.S. pays 70% of NATO. NATO wants protection from Russia, who those same people are giving a pipeline to, and we just roll over.
Well, that's Germany. It's not the rest of the EU, and it's not the rest of NATO. I mean, I know you don't know geography, but I kind of don't give a shit.
Over and let it happen. Now, you Americans can't have a pipeline for yourselves. You can't
That's not our pipeline. That's Canadian shale oil.
have the jobs. You can't.
We have lots of pipelines for American fuel. We have several of them. Okay, hold on one second. Do I even have to? Let's see. Wake up. Okay, so map of U.S. pipelines. There's got to be something in there, right? Petrochemical plants. Okay, here's a good one. This is a pretty solid. You guys want to see a? All right. I'll quit it. I don't want to go into Pinterest. Here's a map of pipelines in the United States. Yeah? Americans can't have a pipeline? We don't have a pipeline? Why don't we have a pipeline? How come we don't have any pipeline? Where are all the people who are going to work on Keystone? Where are they going to work? There aren't any other pipelines. We can't have a pipeline. This is why we don't have a pipeline? Is there no pipelines throughout the United States? Look, I don't even know. Here's just the East Coast. Where are these pipelines? Interactive map of pipelines in the United States. Look at that. This is the map from the AmericanGeosciences.org. There you go. I love this. Interactive pipeline map. Wake that sucker up. Let's do it. PVN, PMS, PHMSA.gov. How can I view it? Choose a state of federal category. There you go. Where should we look? Let's try county or let's see, county or offshore area. I don't want to do this. How can I? What can I view? Let's see. All right, let's just look. I guess we look at the whole country or whatever. Let's look at. I guess it's state by state. That's why it's interactive. Let's pick something in the middle of the country. Let's pick a state that went for Trump, shall we? A state that doesn't have any pipelines. Can't have any pipelines because we can't have pipelines. Why don't we have any pipelines? How come there are no pipelines? Damn it. It's loading the pipelines. There it is. Why won't it work? Oh, I guess not. Okay. So let's go to, here you go. Maptitude. Map existing Keystone pipelines. Oh, wait. Sorry. This is, by the way, the completion of the Keystone pipeline. These other pipelines, these are petroleum product pipelines. And then these are crude oil pipelines, the big yellow ones. The darker ones are the petroleum product pipelines, gas pipelines. And then these other ones are pipelines. Look how many fucking... And they all go through Tulsa and Wichita. You wonder why Tulsa and Wichita and Oklahoma City have all this undue influence in the United States? Because of the crossroads of these pipelines. That's why. Because a central part of the energy that runs through the whole goddamn country. And that's U.S. petroleum and crude oil pipelines. That's not even the natural gas pipelines. Why can't we have a pipeline? I want a pipeline. There's no pipeline. Oil and gas pipelines. There's another picture of this is a YouTube video on oil and gas pipelines. Let's see if this, I don't know if this is going to be like animated map of major oil and gas pipelines in the U.S. Let's see it. Here you go. Here are all the major oil and natural gas pipelines in the United States. Why can't we have a pipeline, Don Jr.? Where are these pipelines? I don't see any. If we just had Keystone, these are the crude oil ones. Christ, this looks like a horror film. 2.5 million miles of pipeline, making it the largest network in the world. Oh. Wait, what? There are two types of crude oil pipelines. We're learning something today. This is nice. I'm going to turn off the music because I don't want to get... Gathering lines reached into oil wells deep within the earth, primarily in these states. What do you know? And that's where these pipelines circulate stuff. Transmission lines, the larger pipelines, carry crude oil to refineries. That's these big guys right here. Look at this. Look at it. And then, these are refined products. These are the gas pipelines. After you make it into gas and heating oil and you put it to market, then there's all these other, these are what the Keystone pipeline would have been one of those. It would have been a refined product pipeline because it's Canadian oil. And look at this. Oh, natural gas pipelines. Look at all these. Natural gas is delivered to homes and businesses through pipelines. That's a lot of them. Oh my goodness. Why can't we have a pipeline? What happened? The first major crude oil was laid in Pennsylvania in 1879. Yeah, but did it bring any Canadian shale oil in? No, I don't think so. Okay. So yeah, pipeline spread across the country over the next few decades. This is nice, but that's a lot. There you go. This is okay. Total mileage tripled in the 20s due to the growth of the automobile industry. Look at that. Christ, I mean, it looks like veinage. Looks like varicose America. In the 1950s and 1960s, oil companies began looking for a new source in Alaska and abroad. These are sites where we've gotten oil, I guess, where we get it. And then we bring it into the United States for its refining because it comes in. There you go. Here's Alaska. Trans-Alaska Pipeline was completed in 1977, carried over 2 million barrels a day at its peak in 1988. Look at that. Pipeline is the safest way to transport hazardous liquid. Look at that. Fantastic. It's a beautiful thing. It looks like varicose veins. But what? 99.9% of the 14 billion barrels got to their destination safely. Look at that. But damaging accidents still happen. Yes, they do. Here's the number of accidents. There you go. Deaths caused by pipeline incidents. These are injuries on the by workers. Yeah, largely. And property damage. There you go. Ta-da! So just so so Don Jr., I'm sure he knows this. I'm sure Don Jr. knows that we can't have a pipeline.
People are giving a pipeline to, and we just roll over and let it happen. Now, you Americans can't have a pipeline for yourselves. You can't have the jobs. You can't have the...
Yeah, guys, we can't have a pipeline for ourselves. America can't have any pipelines. Where are we going to... I mean, once that starts, the whole country will look like, holy shit. God damn, this dude is dumb.
Economic development. You can't have the cheaper energy derived from efficiency of transport of said...
Yeah, we don't benefit from that as Canadian shale
energy. But Russia, no problem. You saw it seemingly
What are you reading, dude? Why are you reading again? Why was this hard?
On the New START arms treaty agreement. You see what's going on in the Ukraine? So...
Yes, we see what's going on with Ukraine. NATO just reaffirmed its support for Ukraine and pushed back against further Russian aggression with the support of the United States, which your dad usurped.
EU is the backbone of NATO, despite you, the American taxpayer, paying 70%.
Well, yeah, they do most of the actual feet on the ground work. That's one of the reasons why we pay for our bases in Germany in case we have to act on this, and we provide a lot of training and military and material services. But arguably, it will be European troops that will go in there if something pops off.
Percent of it. Now, EU, who wants our protection, and we pay 70% of said protection, is going to give Russia a pipeline that will make Russia billions.
Well, no, Germany is using the pipeline.
Billions. The same people that they want protection from, they're going to give billions to, and we're like, okay, this is wonderful. What could go?
Well, if they're going to use it because they need the energy. I mean, this is a distinct issue with Germany. Other than the rest of the EU, which gets a lot of their oil and gas from Ukraine.
Wrong. That's how ridiculous it is, folks.
And yet, I can't get through even that chunk of it without reading off of the notes given to me by the Heritage Foundation or whoever.
That's how ridiculous it is.
Is that how ridiculous it is?
Simple mistakes are being made on a daily basis by Joe Biden. That's not leadership. America isn't back.
Simple mistakes? Simple mistakes?
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
And when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what? A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
Once it was reluctant.
Okay, yeah, you get my point.
Back. It looks like America's leaders have early onset dementia to me. Or maybe...
Oh, yeah? Well...
People coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup. Medical and what we're doing. Medicine and medical and what we're doing. I do it because I have a good memory, because I'm cognitively there. If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Or maybe just in Joe Biden's age, just dementia. And it's sad, okay? It's sad.
It's sad. It's sad that a man of your age has to read fucking notes in a 5-minute video that isn't live, therefore he could reshoot it. Seriously, dude, the fuck is wrong with you? How easy is this?
This is happening right now.
Why do you have gaps in your speech and your thought if you're not doing this live and you could reshoot? This is the level of work you think needs to go out that shows that you are more intellectually capable than the current president of the United States as you side with Vladimir Putin just like your dad did.
Now, on your dime, you're paying.
Oh yeah, we have to, I don't know where, like, I have to, hold on one second. I moved some of my, where are they? Hold on one second. I moved some of my audio bits because when I switched computers, I didn't have the look. So I'll bring that one back over. It's going to take time, but oh, go already.
For it, and the rest of the world is loving it. Again, they love Joe Biden not because he's a good leader or smart or doing what's right. They love Joe Biden because they know that America will be the big schmuck at the table, paying.
Well, as opposed to the big schmuck at the omelet bar at Mar-a-Lago?
For all of them. Look, it's what's going to happen with environmental policy. I bet America's going to be spending trillions. China and Russia will do nothing for decades. Then they'll come back and renegotiate. We're going to bankrupt our middle class and the backbone of America to support ridiculous.
By building the green energy of the future for us and for Europe and all the participating countries. You do realize there's like 3 billion people to sell solar panels and wind and geothermal technologies to if we make them here, even if China and Russia don't participate, and especially India as it develops or Africa as it develops, because then you don't have to lay out pipelines for this kind of stuff. Renewables are something that people who are currently off the grid, it's why there are fewer landlines in India, but a shit ton of cell phones. Right? Because they never had the means and wherewithal during the Industrial Revolution to lay phone lines everywhere. They just took a pass on it. They just didn't have phones. And then along came cell phones and they picked it up right away because you didn't have to have the base lines in there. You could just put the towers in or use satellite relays and that would expand the phone system out into almost all of India. Same thing is true of renewables. You can either put gas stations lined up along pipelines and trucking routes, which you have to create, or you can have electric cars and solar panels and wind and geothermal and all those kind of things for all that area. And as they expand, that's the kind of shit they're going to want to use because it's less damaging to the environment around them. There's less toxins in the environment. Beyond all the climate change stuff, again, I've said this many, many times. You don't have to believe in man-made climate change to understand pollution, that gas exhaust sucks, and that businesses that churn out a lot of petrochemical waste, over time that kills people locally. And so we don't have that problem with wind turbines and geothermal plants. And you also don't have to tie them together for them to work. You can satellite these things out to entire cities. Just like thorium reactors or micronuclear. That was part of the growth of nuclear ultimately. Why it was so beneficial early on was because you didn't have to chain it to something else to make it work with a pipeline. God damn.
Ridiculous treaties, and the rest of the world loves that because they will be the beneficiary of it while we get crushed, right?
Why would we get crushed if we invent and own all this stuff and our intellectual property rights are protected and they're buying from us and not the Chinese, which is the point. That's what's being negotiated at the G7. They're gonna part of what they've been talking about with all the European Union countries and why the G7 are the pivot points on it is so that we invent solar panels or we invent some sort of new technology and China makes a copy of it and the Europeans buy a lot of it because it's cheaper from them instead of buying it from us. That's part of what we're negotiating at the G7. Your dad didn't know about that, so he didn't give a shit. He didn't want it to succeed.
Lobbyists for the Nord Stream 2 project have died.
Dude, why are you looking at what's the note up here now? This Nord Stream, do you have a post-it note with Nord Stream on it?
foreign agent registration. Amazingly, no one's saying anything. It's not Russian collusion. It's not a problem. It's not a Russian influence project.
Look at this shit. You got four. What do you got? 4 sentences. Russian influence project. Yeah, you mean like Trump Tower, Moscow? That kind of influence?
Moscow has
what was I talking about?
pretty much gotten everything that they've wanted on its wish list since Biden and Harris were elected.
What are you looking at, dude? It's a 5-minute fucking video. Jesus.
And it's okay. It's okay. But you know what's going to be really embarrassing? It's going to
Your dad coming and going alone from Trump Tower with none of the family around, especially his wife, and definitely not you and Eric, and you him like hanging you out to dry about stuff that happened at the business while he was president. That's going to be kind of sad. I mean, it won't be sad for me, but it'll be sad for you.
It's going to be really awkward when Biden hands Putin a list of pre-selected questions for him to answer. Okay? Again, folks, there's a reason that a few months ago Putin challenged.
Yeah, whoever. I mean, it's. I understand how you're confused on who's the president of the United States. But, you know, obviously, what we're seeing here, folks, is cocaine-induced early onset dementia.
List of pre-selected questions for him to answer. Okay? Again, folks, there's a reason that a few months ago Putin challenged Biden to a debate.
Yeah, don't edit or anything. Don't fix it. I mean, that shows weakness.
Debate on the world stage. Okay? Of course, Biden refused, but
yeah, because he has no reason to debate the head of a country who's a gangster, who is it. What's the debate? Whether or not Alexei Navalny should die in prison, whether or not people should be able to be assassinated in parks in Berlin on a whim, whether or not you should push doctors out of it. What's the debate point? Whether or not it's better if you run your country like a mob, like gangsters, as opposed to caring about your people. The average Russian makes about $9,000 a year, U.S. in modern dollars, not like 1978 dollars, which is about the ultimate standard of living countrywide that they have. As small as their economy is, they got a lot of fucking people. And to have their economy be that small with that many people is the fault of the government, really. It doesn't necessarily have to be. There are impoverished countries with lots of people in them that it's just a cultural issue or just an advancement issue. Russia has none of those things. The first monkey in space. You know, Russia has had technological advancements and abilities over the last 120 years. Now it's just run by a gangster fuck-up who likes your dad, who's just a plain old fuck-up. And there's no reason to give them the time of day except for they have to deal with them because of how they act on the world stage.
Putin did that because he knew. He knew it would be an embarrassment for Joe Biden and America.
Yes, it would. It would be kind of on the same level of flying over and shaking hands with Kim Jong-un while you know he's still making ballistic missiles that can now reach the continental United States. But you allowed it to happen because he was so nice to you and you had a nice meal.
America, and the world would see it. He put it out because he knew what the answer was going to be. He knew Biden would never do it, just like he doesn't going to do it this time. There won't be a press conference where Putin can eat his lunch on a world stage, but it doesn't matter because the damage is already done and
How is it done? Well, again, why? I have yet to find anybody on Newsmax or any of these sites, and they're all saying the same shit. Any of them telling me as an American citizen or any of the other members of the EU or I guess worldwide, why anyone should take what Vladimir Putin says about anyone seriously on a moral or intellectual or psychological level. I mean, he's been living in basic isolation through most of COVID, and all the word came out that he was getting, that he had, as soon as word got out that he may have Parkinson's, that's when he challenged Biden to a debate. It was him posturing to put himself in a position of strength.
everyone knows it, and it's a shame. It's happening, guys. every single day. Again, the sharks are circling.
I wrote sharks are circling on a post-it.
And they're taking advantage of you and your children's futures.
And how? The sharks? Which sharks would these be? You mean your dad and your sister and your brother-in-law and your brother? What sharks? Honest to God,